It's 2024 and I had an option for more exposure. Either it was OnlyFans or making Reese basses like this. I finally chose to make Reese basses and videos about basses in general. I have divided the bass into two parts. One is this sub and one is the noise top. Sub is just sub with noise, and the top is sort of like a lead part to the bass. Let's make this basic patch. Initialize your serum. We're going to use sub at -1. By the way, I have taken F1 as my note. Bass is strongest at the F note. So we'll make it at F, and then you can resample it to any other note for all the processing that we do. So you just have this basic sine wave like this. Add noise to it. Oscillator A, oscillator B. So oscillator A would be a basic shape sine wave again. But when you go to sine wave, just make your own, like have this fundamental going up, and for oscillator B do the same thing, but a fundamental, not a fundamental, but an octave above. You get this one. Now all you have to do is make a shape like that, put it to trigger. You can use BPM. I don't want to use BPM because then we can modulate more rates into the sound. So I'll show you that in a minute, and then just automate the levels of it. Just reverse the sub one, so that means whenever the sine waves kick in, the sub goes down, and when the sub kicks in, this will come down. Just like a wild experiment. Put on the filter for everything. So we have already gotten a basic shape out of it. Now I want this filter to open up, so let's just do this. And put it to trigger. And for effects, let's go with a filter with reverb modulation, which is again an amazing thing. Through distortion. That's it. That is your sound. That's it. Now everything else is in the post production, or not post production, but all the post processing of the sound, and you can just use a saw try to use as different waveforms as you can. Just a word of caution, don't put the phase to random, just get the random phase to 0 so that the starting point of your sine wave will always be the same. You can play with this as well if you Now that we have gone with the basic idea of how to create the sound, I will explain you the post-processing. I have divided the sound in sub and noise, as I've told earlier, with a linear phase EQ. So this is my sub and this is my top sound. As talked earlier, my sub is going through a riff distortion that I created from scratch. It's just a basic distortion of like a white noise and a harmonic wavefold on it. It gives a crunch to your sub, so it will sound, without the riff it sounds like, and with the riff it sounds like this. That's just about the sub. Now for the noise, or no, I just named it noisier top, but which is the lead sound on it. The top sound, just the lead part, it's the same thing. It's the same preset. It's going through another rift, which is a wavefold. It's like a double wavefold processing on top of it. Right? Without rift, it won't sound that crunchy. I need that crunch, that bite to it. Then a saturator. Without a saturator, pokes out a little more, and then we have OTT. Then we have an OTT. Balances out a sound a bit. Room reverb. Just a room reverb. Without the room reverb, it just basically sounds dead. So I ended up putting a room reverb for it to become more alive-ish. It's a basic preset. Then a vintage verb on top of it, and then a limiter on top of it to crush the sound. Taking out all the peaks, if you may, and a clipper so that it balances out the sound from the top. That is on the lead part of it. And then when I was making it on a track, when I was putting on a track, I thought I needed some more noise in it. So I just put same serum, changed the filter, muted oscillator A and B, and just put an inharmonics 3 voice, inharmonics 3 noise on top of it. That's it. So this is just a noise which is in the mix, which is, again, the width is taken down, the gain is taken down. It is all going through the same chain of what I put the lead sound in. That's why it is more crunchier in the sound. So without the noise, with the noise, get more alive on it. And I have automated the LFO and pitch bend for both of the sounds, so that they do it simultaneously, and you can see the automation here. The best part about the automation in LFO is like you can change the sound drastically by just automating the LFO the way you want to. you're basically getting one sound which you can use it in your whole track. Whole sound is going through a compressor which is catching the peaks of the sound. So if I just put it back here, it is just catching the peaks. It is just catching the peaks of the sound. Then I have an EQ which is boosting the fundamental frequency and taking down some inharmonics of it. Without an EQ, with an EQ. And then it is going through a multi-band compression. I just wanted some mids to it, so and then it is going through soothe to remove some harshness on top of it. And then again it is going through a clipper. So that it is totally a balanced sound. When I'm using this sound in a track, I'll generally put a limiter before going to the clipper so that it balances out even more and becomes a fat clunk of sound. And that's all my post process.